to install on OS. Okay, just you need to create a Docker image, okay, which is understood by Docker engine. So what it will do is it will make use of the host operating system, but it gives you a same visualization of VMs here. Okay, so if for example today you have created 10 VMs and each and every VM is doing a different operation or different set of applications that's running, what you can do in Docker is you can just run those applications directly using, aligning to the Docker infrastructure or design. So the advantage here is, one is lightweight. This one.
Yeah, so that means that this image itself is having the OS plus the hypervisor binary.
Yeah, but it is not directly OS actually. It's again a thin software on top of your OS like hypervisor. But only thing is it directly uses the libraries from here. For example, I want to use a very basic commands like list, change mode, all those things. So only those parts Docker engine will take it from here and give it to this application.
I mean from the host operating
From the host operating system. You can take it as a copy actually. Okay. Instead of giving a whole OS here, what this will do is in this whole OS, maybe you are using only rm and list command, but still we will get other thousands of commands unnecessarily here. Here what will happen is it will give you only those commands which are actually requested by you. So in that way, it also saves you the lot of memory and RAM, because each and every command of OS takes a lot of RAM. So that is saved here. So this again gives you the same structure. So the failure here will not impact these two. Only the failure here will impact all the three, like same as this virtualization.
So in this case, this guest OS and this host operating system, what is the difference?
Where? Here. Host operating system, for example, we are using VMware's operating system. So why it is required is, for example, you give one big system, like for example, you consider a laptop only. So VMware will install one software which actually uses the full resources of your laptop. Okay, on top of that there is a small thin layer called hypervisor, which these two are in sync with. Okay, so it uses the OS, this host operating system functionality, to give you a VM, so virtual machine. So you can install. So in your laptop you can have now 3 virtual machines, which means your laptop can work as 3 different machines.
So host operating system is mainly needed for the hypervisor, not for any application.
No, yes, only for the hypervisor to make a resource pool for you. So this is actually, this acts as a resource pool allocator, and this takes whole resources and it knows about the complete. For example, I have 10 GB of RAM and some CPU. So hypervisor asks, okay, I want to create on guest OS, give me some resources for this guest OS. So these two do that. So infrastructure is nothing but a full.
So here system. This host operating system acts as a resource allocator. There it acts as a resource allocator plus uses some of the OS functionalities.
No, here also we have OS actually. Here it's a VMware.
No, you
OS.
can think of the host operating system like the infrastructure is your server, your entire server. On top of the entire server, you will be running RHEL or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the host operating system. On top of the RHEL, you are creating VMs.
So
again, you install the guest OS.
Huh?
Yeah. So guest OS is what NetAct is running on. So you install RHEL on top of RHEL.
So and this guy knows, for example, if he asks for RHEL, so this, the resources, it will give you just resources, but the actual guest OS, actual OS, what our application will be running on will be installed as part of VM. That is nothing to do with this. It just allocates you resources. That's what is done here. But here it has a dedicated, it has something more here. For example, let's consider it as Ubuntu. So Ubuntu. So that, from that it takes. So it's not directly it takes that, but the functionalities that kind, which actually Docker engine understands. So that's why whatever software you can run on a Linux Docker engine can be run on Windows Docker engine also, because this guy acts as an abstract layer between the OS and the Docker.
I think it's more of that. It reduces. It's more lightweight and reduces in many forms the performance
and also it is, you can run the, if all the things are aligning with the Docker, you can run the same Docker image into your Windows also.
Okay, some Docker vocabularies, Docker images. Docker images is a full application like an OS, and the Docker containers is an application that we use to running like Java or MySQL. That's the thing. And the Docker engine is the full Docker engine is also an application that is used to run the Docker images in that and creates the containers in that. And the last thing is registry service. It's a Docker hub used to store our images online and by reducing the spaces in which we think. The advantages of Docker. Docker is a container. It's smaller than VM, and it's faster and it gives a better performance compared to the VM. And the Docker containers are able to share the single kernel and share the application libraries, as we really said. Containers, low system overhead. Virtual machine is if we run if we run 5 applications in VM and the 5 applications in Docker, say Docker performance is good than VM because it takes only the libraries that we needed for the application only. And each container run in the separate process. If you want to kill the container or kill the process, it's easy to kill the containers. The companies that use Dockers are these are companies that use Dockers. Let's go to installation in Ubuntu. For installation, Docker needs an 64-bit Linux kernel. For the checking, it's using a command, and it needs a kernel version 3.10. And this is mandatory things for installing Docker, stable version Docker. If it's not satisfied this condition, it's only an unstable Docker version. In unstable Docker version, some commands are not having in it. These are installation process in Ubuntu. Still you need to update the system and add the key server to the Docker. Add the key server to the list that we need to give the repositories for storing the Docker, and we can edit the Docker list and add the command to get the web files from the site apt.docker project. And you can after then we can update Ubuntu. It takes the files from the apt.docker project and store it in the local repository. After that we can install the Docker engine, and that after we can use using the script from get.docker.com. It's association script and install the required things that we need to run the Docker, and we can add the user, our local user like a Ubuntu user to the Docker to make run the images containers in that user only. And after that we can start the Docker by using the systemctl and the service to check Docker is installed using docker-v.
What is the key from server?
Yeah, this is a apt key, GPG key for Ubuntu. It will take the keys from the ha.pool.com and the server and store it in the local repository to get the Docker from the and set the repositories to the which directory Docker we need to install in it. If we
authentication key or something?
No authentication key. If he doesn't get the key from the this server, we doesn't identify whether what is the directory that we installed the Docker, which directory Docker was installed. Usually Ubuntu takes installation etc directory or user bin directory. If he doesn't get the keys from it, we can store